Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to what is, oh, for fuck's sake! Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to what is, oh, Jesus fucking Christ. Good morning, everybody. We've not exactly, oh, for fuck. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel, and welcome back to what is essentially kind of either a new look or a new start for me. You've been very helpful, all of you, over the last week or so. Oh, Jesus Christ, not again! Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Right, before I go any further, a huge thank you to all of you for the support you've given me over the last... not again! Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to the channel. Not exactly the most auspicious of starts. This, I think, is take 4 or something like that. I'm going to get it right from here on in. First of all, a huge thank you for all the encouragement that you've given me, as per usual, over the last week or so. I had a pretty horrendous time last Sunday. The recording of the video seemed to go fine, but as per usual, the editing went tits up, and then YouTube was basically behaving like a complete arse. So it didn't go well. So I've been kind of seeking advice and ideas and this, that and the other to make it a bit better, and certainly to make it a lot easier for me. And I think I've finally, hopefully, fingers crossed, come up with a format that is hopefully going to work. You'll be watching this now on September the... what date is it? Just bear with me. 10th today, so it'll be the 16th, I'm guessing. Saturday morning, and what you will be getting is hopefully this video, which will be an hour or so long, and I will also be doing something to do with the TV channel for Sunday morning, and that will run for as long as the TV thread that Jason is doing at the moment. It'll run about as long as that goes, I suppose, but I'm sure we can come up with something for after that. But this is how it's going to be for the immediate future. You'll have an hour-long video on a Saturday. It may not be an hour, it may be slightly more, it may be a bit less. I shall do my best. It'll pretty much all depend on what you give me to talk about, really. As long as there are plenty of posts and questions and all that sort of thing going up throughout the week, I will have plenty to talk about, and you'll get your hour-long Tony time. So it may be a little bit of a jumble, this first one. Reason being that I'm sort of mopping up comments from 2 weeks ago that I either forgot to read out or never noticed. So anybody that hasn't had the comments read out, do forgive me. I've tried to mop up all the comments that I've missed over the last 2 weeks. So I'm going to start. I'm just going to go for it and see how far we get. I'll start with Steve Mack. I believe we were talking about soundtracks probably a week or two ago. And Steve, you mentioned Karate Kid 2, Glory of Love, Peter Cetera was the theme song. I couldn't think of what the theme tune was to, I think it was the original Karate Kid. So you set me straight on that one. Reached #1 in the Billboard charts in the US. I watch your chit chat review vid when I get back from the shops. That's lovely, Steve. Cheers for that. Sequel was Tron Legacy with soundtrack by Daft Punk. Oh yes, I was on about the sequel to Tron, and I couldn't remember the title of that one either. Love that soundtrack. And you put Tony, Restless Natives is on Studio Canal Blu-ray. I'm almost certainly going to be investing in a copy of that. I saw this one for the first time. probably about 6 months, maybe a year ago. It's another of those movies that I saw on the video shelf, on the VHS shelf many times. It had been out for a couple of years by the time I got the job working at Staple Video, and it hardly ever moved, and I never bothered watching it. But then it popped up on BBC iPlayer sometime last year, and I watched it, and yet again thought, oh my God, how have I missed this one all these years? Absolutely loved it. Had no idea that it had got a soundtrack by Big Country, which fitted the movie absolutely perfectly. So I almost certainly will be invested in that Studio Canal Blu-ray. You go on to say Staying Alive 4K. There were only 2 archival features on the Region Lock Blu-ray, and there were an interview with Finola Hughes and the commentary. I could probably live without both of those. So I will be looking out for it. I think you said that wait they usually pop up on Amazon UK after a few weeks. So I'll be keeping an eye out for that one, and providing it's not too expensive, I will almost certainly be investing in a copy of that. Let's see, got all the Saw films. It's a guilty pleasure for me, and I tend to laugh outrageously. The traps are ever more inventive, and the plot goes all over the place in each film. I do look forward to the traps in each film, so look forward to Saw X. That's more than I'm doing. I haven't seen, as you know, a Saw movie all the way through, apart from the original, which I thought was really, really good, if a little bit over brutal. And I've seen odd little bits of the sequels. When I've had them, I've sort of flipped through them and had a look at one of the traps, and as soon as I realised it was to do with a key behind the eyeball, it's like, no fucking way, not having that one. So, as I've said before, if I'm feeling particularly brave one night, I may pop Saw 1 on again, just to remind me of where it all comes from and where it began, and then try Saw 2 and see how far I actually get with it. So I'll keep you posted on that one. Definitely. Flight of the Phoenix came out on Criterion. Great release. I did cover it in an edition, and I'll send you the link, which you kindly did. I watched the review. I love that movie. It is a trifle expensive. I believe it's £26 or £27 on Amazon. If it comes down, I will almost certainly grab a copy of that. I love that movie. I've loved it since I first saw it as one of my end of term school movies. So yes, I would like a copy of that without a doubt. And you were also talking, your Let's Talk Criterion videos. I've enjoyed the last 2. You mentioned Walkabout, which is being released in October, I think, on 4K. You also mentioned that if you've got the Blu-ray, probably not to worry too much about getting the 4K. I don't think it's laden down with special features from what you mentioned, but the one I've got, let me just pop my drink down. This is the one that I've got, and this is the who released this one? Universal Indivision. Well, that's the version I've got anyway, and I believe, looking at the back here, there are no special features whatsoever on this. But I'm fairly sure that I could find that interview with Luke Rogue on YouTube or something like that, and any other sort of bits and pieces that are on the 4K or the forthcoming 4K release. I'm pretty sure I could find them somewhere, so I'm not too worried about that. So I probably will stick with that Blu-ray. And you also mentioned one called Wake in Fright, and again got that one on Eureka. You mentioned it as part of the Australian New Wave cinema, which I do love. I've seen 1 or 2 of them. This one I've been putting off basically because I've heard a lot about the animal cruelty scenes in it, to do with the killing of kangaroos and stuff like that. I do want to watch it. I'm not sure I could stomach that. Why did I buy it? It was an impulse buy. I can't remember what I was watching, but I thought that there was a trailer to Wake in Fright on there, and I thought, oh, need to see that one. Got it, read up on it, and suddenly realised, oh God, what have I bought here? So I will take a look at it at some point, but I may have to flip through the the kangaroo murders. We'll see how we go. Let's see. I had no idea, by the way, that Walkabout clashed with the BBFC. There was a lot of controversial movies about in the early 70s. The BBFC had quite the time of it, what with the Clockwork Orange, Straw Dogs, The Devils, Last Tango. What was the other one? There was another one. Women in Love, Ken Russell's movie. But I had no idea that Walkabout had clashed with them over the nudity. I see why, kind of. Obviously, things were very different back in 1970, the laws to do with certain things. So I do kind of get that. Let's see, Criterion releases for November. Really enjoyed this one. One False Move I've never heard of. Never heard of. But I'm going to be watching the trailer. And if I like the look of it, I'll probably pre-order that one. One that I definitely will be getting. And I think this is going to be my entry point into the world of Criterion Blu-rays and 4Ks, is Peter Bogdanovich's The Last Picture Show. I've never seen it. I've heard brilliant things about it. I definitely do want to see it. I believe the director's cut is included in this 4K release from Criterion, so I almost certainly will be getting a copy of that, as it also includes the sequel Texasville, which I tried to get a hold of a while ago, and it is very rare. It's a lot rarer than you would think it would be. I had real trouble grabbing a copy of that off Amazon. I gave up in the end. So when I saw that The Last Picture Show on your video was being released in November, along with Texasville and a host, and I mean a real host of special features, I thought, yeah, this is going to be my first proper Criterion purchase. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I think that's the end of November, if I remember right. So I'll be showing that one off. Rick, now then, Big T, I agree about the bunch of folks in the cinema, especially the sweaty teens festering in them. I go to Odeon Cinema at Meteor Centre in Derby. It's got leather recliner seats, so not many seats in the room. Also, the trick is to go early doors on a weekday when there's hardly any bugger in there. Great vid as always, mate. Cheers, Rick. Yeah, the cinema trip is still on the cards. I don't know when. It will just strike me one day, and I'll think, do you know what? I'm going to go. I shall. You know, it'll be a morning showing because the red carpet do morning showings. I'll even take a look at the Cineworld, see if they do morning showings. That really is the best time for me to go, when all the kids and people are at work. They're all at school and at work and this, that and the other, and I'll probably have the place to myself, which is perfect. But sitting in a crowded cinema, no, not for me. We'll see. Jason Kerr, our Ginger Ninja. Buster Crab, the dreaded Buster Crab, here we go again. Any relation to Buster Rhyme? Not really, Jason, no, afraid not. There is a very fine line between good, crappy films and just crappy films, but I feel Sharktopus versus Whale Wolf is fully enough to fall into the good crap section. We were talking about this one last week, and I said I like the look of it. It does look truly terrible, but it looks truly terrible in a good way. So I get what you mean with that, and I will be taking a look at that. And while Tubi Tuesday is going away, something else is replacing it in December or January, which is going to be a lot of fun. Looking forward to that. It's funny because when you mentioned something coming up in December and January, I thought, well, that's ages away. And then I thought about it, and I thought, hang on a minute, we're halfway through September already, so it's literally only a couple of months away. So looking forward to finding out what that is. Jay, keep up the great work, and I'll keep up the outtakes in mine. Please do. I'm not giving up on mine. There was, I think on yesterday's video or last week's video, here we go, this is where the confusion starts coming in, but this will all peter out, if you know what I mean, all the confusion, because from next week it should be a lot easier for both of us, for all of us. So yeah, I don't think there were any outtakes in last week's, so that's good. Gareth, those books only cost me £1 each. You lucky sod. You were showing off pictures of Star Wars paperbacks and also the Close Encounters photo novel, which I used to have, and I either gave away or lost or sold or whatever, I don't know, but I've definitely not got it anymore. I've been looking to acquire a copy of it, a fresh copy of it. But a few months ago, the last time I looked, they were going for sort of 15, £20, and I thought, no, not for an old book. But if you got those for £1, I'm going to have another look around and see if I can collar a copy for. I'd go up to about £10, but no more than that for it. I think it's a nostalgia thing. I think it's just a book that I want, that I used to have many, many years ago. It's like the Saturday Night Fever paperback novel. I used to have that, and it had got pictures of Travolta in the centre that used to fan out. And it was a cracking book. I read it a couple of times, and again, I got rid of it. I must have gone through some kind of a purge at some point where I was just dumping things, and the stuff I dumped was not the stuff that I probably meant to dump. I don't know, but yeah, that's another one I'm going to be looking for. And I wouldn't be surprised if you've already got that. I can't remember who wrote it now. It's got a white sleeve, but it was a paperback book. I can see you putting a picture of that up any minute now. Mark, let's see. Oh, you were all so supportive last week when I was going through this crappy time with the video. Mark, it doesn't need to be uploaded for a specific time on the dot. Whenever it lands is fine. Don't worry yourself. I just don't want you stressing out, mate. It's supposed to be fun. Whatever it uploads, or whenever it uploads is fine. It is what it is. We all love your videos no matter what time they upload. You're my favourite YouTuber, mate. Oh, thank you, Mark. That's so sweet. Great videos, even greater bloke. I'll never stop watching. Keep up the good work and don't stress. I won't, not from now on. This is hopefully going to be the final change. It should be quite easy because obviously I'm recording this last Sunday. Today is I keep having to refer to it, watch it, because I never remember what bloody date it is. Just bear with me. It is the 10th today. So I'll record the second half straight after I've done this, and I've basically got all week to cobble it together, edit it as I see fit. I've got 7 days to do it, and that's perfect. Last week I did them both, and I was just panicking because I thought, as I say, the editing software was playing up. YouTube was being an absolute twat, taking ages to upload, and I thought this is going to be another of those days when it doesn't actually upload until like 6, 7, 8, 10 o'clock at night. And I just wanted to do away with it, and hopefully this will. This will be scheduled to drop at 8 o'clock next Saturday morning, which it's the time that it is now for you lot. So, yeah, thanks for that, Mark. Really, really appreciate it. What have we got here? Loved your video reviews, by the way, of what were the Last Voyage of the Demeter, which I'm definitely going to have a watch. I mean, you're not a massive fan of slow films, but you said it was really, really good, so I'm definitely going to take a look at that. And Last Night in Soho, which has just dropped on Netflix a few weeks ago, which I've never seen. Again, I wouldn't have thought that was your kind of a movie, but if you like it and Jason likes it, I get the feeling I'm probably going to love it. So, and it's Edgar Wright. You can't go wrong with Edgar Wright. Shaun of the Dead, all that sort of thing. And he also did an amazing documentary on the Sparks brothers a couple of years ago, which was absolutely superb. So with it being an Edgar Wright movie, I don't think I'm going to go too far on with that. And you put the Godfather conversation came about because I asked what everybody's unpopular movie opinion was. We need to follow that one up. This is a good one. So all of you out there, have you got what you would class as an unpopular opinion on any particular movie or series of movies? Marx, as he said here, he thinks the Godfather trilogy is crap. That's a fairly unpopular opinion, a controversial one, but quite unpopular. So has anybody else got any like that? Again, post them in the comments and I shall be talking about those. And I said that mine was, oh yeah, the Godfather trilogy is shite. I would go as far as using Jason's description of Avatar. It's soul destroying. Other than that, awesome video. Thanks, Mark. Avatar, soul destroying. I've not seen it yet, so I don't know. Jason P, don't let it bother you, mate. We can all wait. Thanks, appreciate that. Right, I'm moving now on to comments on yesterday's Saturday review video. Now, obviously, I'm filming this on Sunday, so this is last week's Saturday review video, and this should, as I say, this confusion should basically disappear after this week with a bit of luck. Guy, great idea. How hour-long Saturday vid plus a retro TV vid on a Sunday is a winner. I think so. I'm not sure how long the TV one's going to run for, but I'm sure we can keep it going. I mean, there's millions of TV programs we could talk about, and hopefully in time we can do the same for the music channel, because those two, yeah, they get a fair bit of sort of exposure, but not as much as the movie one. The movie one is so busy. I love it. So hopefully we can do the same for the TV channel and also the music channel. Jason Kerr, our Ginger Ninja, back with you again, dude. What the fuck? No outtake. No, for fuck's sake. Wow. Sorry to disappoint. It all went swimmingly last week. It was the editing and the upload that was playing up. But I have got a few outtakes which I will stick on the beginning of this one. The beginning of this did not go well at all, so you won't be disappointed, mate. Also, I forgot to leave my comment. The problem of watching while working, first world problems, yeah. I managed to get a hold of Logan's Run TV series, and I've watched the first 2 episodes. Pretty good, different pace to the movie, plus Michael Biehn is in the first episode. I didn't know that. I need to dig this one out. I've actually got a copy of it upstairs, and I need to start watching it, because obviously we watched the movie a few weeks ago. Absolutely loved it, and I said at the time, really must have a look at the TV series, because he doesn't remember the TV series at all. Tony, you have to do what works for you. This is to do with the format again. If it's easier to do 1 hour long videos, go for it. I'm sure everyone here will continue to watch, maybe in sections though. Yeah, I get that. Not everybody has an hour continuously to watch one video, so I do actually get that. I do that with a lot of videos. You know, if they're sort of 30 minutes or 40 minutes, I'll watch 2 15-minute sections, so I do totally get that. Some people prefer to live stream, some people prefer to pre-record. I enjoy pre-recording due to the format of what I do, movie reviews, etc. I think you could certainly do a live stream. I'd be all up for it. I'm bloody sure you would be. Dude, I can't get it right when I'm pre-recording, so I've got fuck all chance of getting it right if I'm actually live, but I'm not ruling it out. It's going to happen at some point. But again, it'll be an on-the-spot decision. I should just put some sort of an announcement on the page saying join me at 9 o'clock on whatever morning, and we'll do it live. But it's certainly not going to be just yet, not until I've got this bit right. Let's see. Planet of the Apes is a movie that has all the right elements, but because it was done so well, it was hard to do a straight-up remake because it is incomparable. Planet of the Apes, the original from 1968 with Charlton Heston, is movie perfection. You could not better that, and you'd be a fool to try, which is obviously what they did try, and it didn't work. I think that's why Dawn of the Planet of the Apes is so well received. Great cast, great effects, which the remake had, but the story is different. It's not the same as the original. It's different enough to stand alone without comparing it, even if it is technically a prequel. I need to watch it again. As you saw last week, I have still got the VHS copy of VHS. I keep going back to the 80s. I've still got the DVD copy of that, so I will be taking a look at that to see whether it is as bad as I remember it being. Great vid as always, Tony. Cheers, Jay. You watched me at work, by the way. How on earth do you get away with that? God, nice work if you can get it, eh? I also work Saturday morning, so I totally get it. I work from 6 till either 10 or 11. Just gives me a bit of a head start on Monday morning. As you say, makes you a little bit of extra dollar, so there's no harm in it. But it doesn't leave me much time to do anything on a Saturday. This is why all the recording has to be done on a Sunday morning, when I basically got all morning just to do what I do. And I loved the new collection videos, by the way. Keep them coming. I'm enjoying those. Chappie, never seen it, but somebody mentioned this to me at work probably about a week or two back. and said, "How come you've never seen that?" I said, "How come I've not seen about 3 million movies?" So I will be checking out that one because you seem to like that. Deadheads and Infini. I've never heard of either of those, but they looked intriguing. Zombievers. I don't know whether it was Jason that said that he thought it was absolute crap, which I guess it is. It's one of those movies that's just going to be totally stupid. But I will be getting a copy of that because I've had this one on my mind. It's been on my radar for quite a bit. So we'll be grabbing a copy of that at some point. But who was it that said that Zombievers was atrocious? I can't remember. Halloween 1 and 2. Oh, hang on. I know who it was. Dave Oliver. Dave Oliver. Savage Zombie. I think you watched it. Some kind of a bet, wasn't it? You said it was really terrible. So, yeah, I'm fairly sure it was you, mate. Halloween 1 and 2, the Rob Zombie movies. Loved them. Absolutely loved them. Not so sure about the David Gordon movies that have been out over the last 5 or 6 years. Halloween Ends was, my God, what went wrong there? I mean, not bad, but certainly not as good as we were hoping it was going to be. I love the 3D cover, by the way, of The Prophecy. I've never seen any of these movies. I used to know somebody that loved them as horror films. Christopher Walken is apparently superb in them. So maybe that is one that I need to take in. But the 3D cover of that is absolutely awesome. Really like that. I'll be watching your slipcovers video sometime this week, so I can drop some comments on that one. I had a quick look at it, but I really, really wanted to get this sort of recorded, so I thought I'll come back to that in a bit. Steve Mack again. Let's see. This is to do with the format. I've had so many supportive messages about this format. I'm so chuffed with the stuff you've been sending me. That's fine, Tony. Whatever works for you. Staying Alive again. Staying Alive. I got the Kino Lorber 4K. Looks good and sounds good, but plot-wise, it wasn't anywhere near as good as Saturday Night Fever. First to admit it. You know, I mean, I love Saturday Night Fever, as you all know. One of my favourite movies ever, along with Close Encounters. Absolutely can't fault it. Went to see it, Staying Alive, in 1983 when it first came out, thinking it was going to be a really raw sequel, and then I realised it was a PG certificate and thought, oh dear, oh no. I do need to watch it again to see whether it's as, I wouldn't say it's a bad movie, it's just not got any of the atmosphere and the raw quality that the original from 77 had. None of it. But we'll see. I'll have another look at it either on the DVD that I got or the 4K if I decide to invest in it. So thanks for that, Steve. Stuart George is a new viewer. I don't know whether he's subscribed that. If you haven't subscribed, Stuart, please subscribe. I really appreciate it. I didn't recognise the name. As soon as I looked at it, I thought, oh, that's somebody new. You were talking about Ruth Gordon. Ruth Gordon was also in the Clint Eastwood film Any Which Way You Can, and also Any Which Way But Loose, Right Turn Clyde. I haven't seen either of those. I think Steve Mack, you mentioned this a couple of weeks ago. She's funny in them films. I've recently started my own channel. I'm probably a similar age to you. If you want to, what do you mean similar age to me? Oh, you're old as well then, are you? Let's see, if you want to pop over and see, I'm from the UK as well. I've had a look at a couple of your videos, mate, and I really, really like them. We are definitely similar beasts on YouTube, I think. We basically do roughly the same thing. We sit in front of a camera and we just hold up titles and talk about it, which is perfect. It's brilliant. So yeah, I watched your very first video, which brought back memories of what my very first video was like. Mine was bloody terrible. But yeah, I'm loving your videos, mate. Keep them coming. And please comment as much as you like on we do have, you won't know this probably, we do have a Facebook group that we all sort of congregate on, and we post sort of anything movie wise on there. So feel free to pop over. It's called Retro Movie Zone Chit Chat. It's a private group. we're very select about who we let in, but yeah, I've seen your videos. You've been more than welcome, mate. So pop over, hit the join group thing, and obviously you'll be accepted and you can join in with all the fun that goes off on there. It's one of the busiest movie groups on Facebook. I'm really, really proud of it. And it's the guys that post and chat on there that make it. So yeah, feel free to pop over, join the group. You will be more than welcome. So that's Stuart Gordon. I'm going to have to take a break in a minute, so I'm coming up to 30 minutes. Rick, hour-long Tony time on a Saturday sounds good to me, mate. I'm going to jump on the bandwagon with the Godfather movies. Very slow. The first was Brando's movie. After he croaked it, the movie went stale. Really? The second was about 27 hours too long, exaggerating ever so slightly there. I never got through the third. The same with Apocalypse Now, very overrated. What? Apocalypse Now overrated? Rick Mallin, wash your bloody mouth out. I haven't seen Apocalypse Now for many, many years. There are a lot of different versions. I believe I've got the Redux version upstairs. It's another one that I need to take in to see whether it holds up. Yeah, what year was that? Was it 1979 or 1980? I can't remember. I just remember it being an outstanding movie. Absolutely loved it, and easily my favourite of the Vietnam movies of the time. So I do need to take it in again and see whether it is very overrated. Right, time for a quick break, folks, and I should be back in a few seconds. And we're back, picking up where we left off. Let's see, Jason. Our very own Jason Parry. Fan bloody tastic vid, Tony. I think this was last week's. Now let's see if I can remember a few things. Here we go. I don't own the Now vinyl. In fact, I don't have any vinyl. That surprises me a lot. I don't know why, but it does. Have you got no love for vinyl at all? Really curious about that one. I mean, oh, hang on a minute. No, you're of a certain age, aren't you? It was CDs when you were younger, wasn't it? Obviously, it was vinyl for me when I was sort of your age back then, which is why I've still got most of it. I hardly ever part with vinyl, hardly ever. I just need to find out what I did with all of the soundtracks that I used to have. I had so many that I used to import from a shop in London called 58 Dean Street Records. This was in the days before the internet, when you could just log on and just click a button and it turns up on your doorstep the following day. You used to have to send off for catalogues, which used to come, and then you'd rifle through them, you'd fill out an order form, post it back with a check. Before I had a credit card. It was a very different world back then. But I'm curious to know, why have you not got any vinyl? It is expensive now, I will give you that. Walking around HMV the last time I went in, and I've actually ordered a lot of vinyl for my other half for Christmas, and I'm surprised at how much it is. I seem to remember vinyl LPs being sort of £3-4 a piece years ago. Well, HMV have got them in for usual price is about 27 quid, and it's like, fuck, what, really? So yeah, I do kind of get it. 9.5 weeks, not seen that since the 80s. I only remember the Ice Cube scene. I don't remember that. I do need to watch it again, definitely. I remember it being a really, really good movie, and not just because of the salacious aspect, let's call it. I just thought it was a really, really good film. So I do need to take a look at that. 3, To Live and Die in LA was on Film 4 in the week. I watched it again. It was okay still. Okay. William Friedkin. Again, it's one that I remember watching years ago and loving. I remember it had a really hard edge to it. But I haven't seen it since, so I can't really say whether it's stood up well. But now I've got the Blu-ray, obviously I will be taking that in. Number 4, Rob seems to have the better taste in movies. Really? You think so? I'll tell him that, I'll be flattered by that. And as he likes British comedy, has he seen John Cleese's Clockwise? I don't know, I'll ask him. I haven't either. if he hasn't. So that may be one for a Saturday night. It's one I wouldn't mind watching. I love John Cleese. Faulty Towers and Python, absolutely superb. Fish Called Wanda, really, really good. For some reason, Clockwise flew under my radar and kind of stayed there. But I'll ask him if he hasn't seen it. I'll set that up for a Saturday night. I know you hadn't, or you know that, and me and Guy were pushing it towards you. Yeah, you didn't push hard enough on that one. So, but I will find out. If he's not seen it, that'll be a Saturday one. That 5. You can't say take one in a second take video. Is that right? Instead of starting again, just count to 3 and carry on. It would certainly be a lot nicer, wouldn't it? I've actually been here we go. Head transplant for last week, chubby brown. I had no idea I was that bad. I bleeding hope not. They were pointing that out to me at work. I sat in the Quirks canteen on Monday, I think it was, and somebody said, "Tell us a joke, Tone," and I didn't get what he was on about, so I just kind of laughed. And then somebody else said the same thing, and I said, "What's all this with tell us a joke?" And he says, "Have you not seen Facebook yet?" I says, "Well, what?" He says, "You." Oh, not again. I says, "Who am I this time?" And he says, "Have a look." So I had a look. There's me, chubby brown. Oh God! So if I'm being compared to Chubby Brown, I really do seriously need to clean my act up a bit. Finally, whatever works for you on the videos, mate. Keep doing different things to it until you are happy with it. Don't worry about us. We will still chat shit and take the piss out of you and each other through the week and the weekends. That's good to know. Absolutely. No, I appreciate that, Jace, truly. No need to ask us if it's okay to change the format. It's your video and you do what suits you best and makes you feel comfortable. I appreciate that as well. I do feel the need, not feel the need, but I do like to keep you guys posted of what's happening. Hopefully now this new format will, it's not even a new format, it's just a different way of doing it. Hopefully that will eliminate the need for this, because if this works, I will stick with this. There may be little tweaks, like you say, over the coming weeks, just little things I do differently. But I'm hoping that this new format, as in posting an hour-long video on a Saturday and a bit of TV on a Sunday, will work really well. And I don't see any reason why it won't. All of a sudden, I'm not stressing right now about whether the editing software is going to work or whether YouTube's going to be a complete sod. It's not bothering me because I've got 7 days to do it. So the stress has virtually gone out of it. I missed Red Rock West last night. You posted it, I think it was a couple of nights ago, saying it was on Legend. Completely missed it, but I've had a look at the trailer and thought, my God, that looks really good. This is another one that flew under my radar. There are so many movies under my radar. I'm amazed there's any room under there anymore. But it's one that I'm probably going to invest in. There's a very nice Blu-ray that was released about a year ago. Saw it on Amazon. I think it's only about $9.99, and you get sort of art cards and posters, and there's a few special features on there. So I think it may be worth investing in that, because it very much looks like my kind of a movie. Funnily enough, I didn't think it was yours. When I saw the trailer, I wouldn't have put you and Red Rock West together. I just wouldn't have done. So you kind of throw me a little bit of a curveball with that one, as you sometimes do. You also watched Strays. My God, I heard some podcasts on this one probably a couple of weeks ago when it first hit cinemas. Split right down the middle. You're right, it's going to be a Marmite movie, this one. A lot of people were saying it's just childish, and it's basically a lot of sweary dogs threatening to bite somebody's dick off or something like that. And I think most of the critics were basically saying that the sight of dogs swearing is only funny for about 10 minutes, and then all of a sudden it just gets irritating. Although you loved it and Chris loved it. And I get the feeling that Rob will probably enjoy it because he likes that sort of thing. So that's another one for a Saturday night, I reckon. What I'll reckon to it, I don't know. I'll reserve judgment on that one until I've actually watched it. Chris, you posed me a question, and I'm going to come back to it as soon as I can. Is there a movie that would have been better with another lead actor other than the one they actually cast? Wow, I'm having to give this one some real thought. Leave it with me. I've not forgotten about it. I will transfer that question onto next week's notes, and I should have an answer by then for you. You did a video review, by the way, of Avatar. I loved it. Pretty fit for a blue one. Oh, how eloquent. And obviously they were involved in the protection of the village people, which really made me laugh. You need to work on your YMCA dance, by the way. It's a bit rubbish. Oh, God. Um, let's see now. Looking forward to... oh, I don't even remember writing that. By the way, looking forward to your Sunday Western reviews coming back. I think they're coming back in a few weeks when you've been on your holes. So looking forward to that. I kind of miss those. And you put, came here to repeat Guy's thinking. I think movie Saturday, TV Sunday is a great idea. Do you know what? I've been thinking about changing the name because obviously, if I'm going to be going for it in a new way, I might as well change the name. And I really, really like that. Movie Saturday, TV Sunday. I'll give that some thought. As even if you watch Sunday service for movies, you can just watch the Saturday vid. Plus, this will grow Retro TV's own chit chat more, which is right. I think somebody else mentions a little bit later about changing the name. I'll come back to that. A comment on last week's video from you, Chris. Finally watched both vids for this week, both exceptional. Cheers, mate. Jean-Claude Van Damme film for you to see is Universal Soldier. Ultimate action movie starring Dolph too. Nothing too gruesome in it. I also share the view on the arm wrestling scene in The Fly. Just a great film. It is a brilliant movie. It's just that one particular scene. I cannot stomach it. I keep meaning to watch it again just to see whether I can watch it with the sound muted and then maybe be brave enough to turn it up a bit. I know this sounds really stupid. I just have this thing with the sound of bones cracking. I hate it, which is why I'm still avoiding Nobody. What's the other one somebody dared me to watch? Sisu. I don't know, maybe at some point, but yeah, that scene in The Fly is just horrendous. Sonos Arc is pricey, but definitely worth the money. It handles 360 immersion fantastic without the need of subwoofer or rear speakers. Whoosh, straight over my head. Does it sound good? You say it does, so that would do for me. Although when I've saved my pennies, I will be adding these just to blow my tits off. You have such a command of the English language, Chris. I love it. If the price is a bit too steep, take a look at the Sonos Beam Generation 2. This is meant to be incredible also at half the price. I think I may go for the full Monty on this one. Just from what you said about Avatar, I'm very, very tempted. Come the next couple of months when things have eased off and I've got all my Christmas presents in and a certain massive bill has been paid off, I may just be tempted to go for that. So I'll keep you posted on that one. I do want to add the Godfather trilogy to my collection, as I've heard the transfers are sublime. The transfers are really good on 4K. I was really surprised. 9.5 weeks. I definitely would have ruined a few VHS copies if I'd have been old enough back then. Here we go again. I have, however, contributed to Kleenex profits over the years. I don't even know what to say to that. It is actually a good film also, I think. Yes, it is. It is a good film, Chris, despite that particular element. It is a really, really good film. I'm glad Buster Crabbe was about to help influence the 1980 Flash Gordon. Absolutely love that movie. You are right. The soundtrack is one of the best. Had to be Being Queen. It's a superb movie, and I still stand by what I've said. If we hadn't have had Buster Crabbe playing, I promised I wasn't going to mention his name again after the crap I got last week for it. But if he hadn't have done the original Flash Gordon series, we may not have had that particular Flash Gordon. Certainly not looking the way that it did. So thank you, Buster Crabbe, for that. Really appreciate that. Look forward to Tony Time next week. I will contribute with a vid this week too. Have a great week. Wish you did. That was the Avatar one. So appreciate that. Scott, just finished watching Carry On Constable. Very funny film. It was a good one. Thought it was hilarious. Probably my favourite out of the early ones so far. Sid James was great in it. This is such a fun series of films. Loving them so far. You've got the best to come yet. The golden era for me, for carry-ons, was around about 1967 to about 73. I wasn't a massive fan of stuff like Carry On Jack. Carry On Screaming was good. Carry On Follow That Camel completely dropped the ball for me. It didn't do much for me at all. I was a massive Phil Silvers fan as far as Bilko goes. But I just thought he was dreadfully miscast in that one. That may be an answer to that question of Chris's, actually. I'll give that some thought. But yeah, I think when you get up to things like Carry On Again, Doctor, Carry On Up the Jungle, Carry On at Your Convenience, which is the one set in a toilet factory. Scott, you're going to piss yourself laughing at that one. It's so funny and so politically incorrect. Loved your August haul video, by the way, and congratulations on 300 subscribers. As you know, I've entered your little prize draw. My favourite Batman movie, as everybody pretty much knows, is the 1966 sort of movie adaptation of the TV series with Adam West and Burt Ward. Absolutely love it. It's the one I grew up with. Nothing wrong with the Jack Nicholson Joker movie. The Christopher Nolan ones I've not seen, so I can't comment on those. And yes, I know. I will be taking them in. I do believe I've seen one of them. I think I've seen the one with Heath Ledger as the Joker, whichever one that is, but I've not seen any of the others. But my Batman movie is definitely 1966, absolutely. Your August pickups. Interesting collection of movies there. Time Crimes. I have never heard of this. I love time travel movies, which is why I'm going to recommend two to you that I love. First one, The Time Machine, starring Rod, what's his name? I never get his name right. I always call him Rod Laver, but Rod Laver was a tennis player. Rod Taylor. Absolutely brilliant. A straight up adaptation of H.G. Wells's original novel. This used to be standard Saturday afternoon sci-fi fare, usually BBC Two on a double bill with something else like Journey to the Centre of the Earth with James Mason. I love this movie, as I say, a straight up adaptation of the book, The Time Machine. The other one, I can't recommend this one highly enough. Time After Time. Stars Malcolm McDowell, who you will know from A Clockwork Orange, Caligula. He did some controversial stuff in his years, but this was one of his, I thought this was one of his finest movies. It also stars David Warner, who is a brilliant British actor. Most people know him from The Omen, played the reporter that tagged along with Gregory Peck to find out what was happening with his son Damien. What you have to believe with this, and if you've not seen it, I'll not spoil it too much. All this happens within the first sort of 10-15 minutes, so there really are no spoilers with this. You have to believe when watching this that H.G. Wells, the novelist who wrote The Time Machine, actually built that time machine and kept it in his basement. It was a working thing. He had a friend named John Leslie Stevenson. He was a doctor. Him and a group of other friends used to meet weekly at H.G. Wells's house. Turns out that John Leslie Stevenson is Jack the Ripper. Jack the Ripper goes down into his basement, escapes to the future in his time machine. It is returned to H.G. Wells, and H.G. Wells chases him through time to modern day San Francisco, to basically right what has been wronged in the future. This is an amazing movie. If you like time travel movies, Scott, this I can't recommend highly enough. I remember seeing this at Burton Odeon on a double bill with a movie called, I think it was called The Man Who Saw Tomorrow, and it was a documentary narrated by Orson Welles about Nostradamus, the man who predicted the future. and I think The Man Who Saw Tomorrow was the main feature. I actually prefer this to that. This was the sort of the lesser film. To me, it was a lot better. So if you love time travel movies, please grab a copy of this. It's called Time After Time. Malcolm McDowell, David Warner, and what's the lady's name? Can't remember. Mary Steenburgen. It's just brilliant. Honestly, can't recommend it highly enough. Please grab a copy of this and let me know what you think when you've watched it. What else did you get? Let's have a look. Your Carry On collection, which is steaming through at the moment. Carry On Columbus. Yeah, you've obviously heard that it's not the best movie, and it isn't. I remember hearing about this when it was first being made and thinking, my God, they're resurrecting the Carry On movies. This is going to be amazing. And then I read who was in it. It was a lot of comics at the time who were famous. You got Alexis Sale, Rick Mayall. You'd also got a couple of some of the old stars. Jim Dale, I believe, was in it. Was it Joan Sims? No, Joan Sims was dead by then, wasn't she? What was her name? That played the mother in Ab Fab. I can't remember. But I remember thinking it was going to be amazing. And then it came out and I watched it and I thought, my God, this just isn't funny. What on earth have they done? They basically tried to make the humour from sort of 30 years past work in, I think it was 1991 when it came out. And it was a complete misstep, a total misfire. I mean, if you've got it, watch it, but I'm fairly sure, I would be 95% certain that you just will not find it that funny. Even Julian Clary fails in this one. He's normally hysterical, but it just didn't work on any level. Even Jim Dale couldn't save it. But let me know what you think, but I'm fairly sure that along with Carry On Emmanuel, that is probably the worst Carry On movie ever. And it's the one that nobody likes to refer to. Everybody prefers to remember that it's crap and that's it. So, The Commitment's brilliant movie. Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret. Not seen this yet. I've heard it's a charming film. It's a new one, so I will be taking a look at that. Law Abiding Citizen, brutal as fuck. I got hold of the unrated version of this quite a while ago, and it is nasty stuff. Brilliant story. Gerard Butler is superb in it. Would I watch it again? Almost certainly, because it was good. 10 to Midnight, Bronson. Never seen it, but I'm getting hold of a copy of that because it's an 80s classic that I missed out on. Twin Town. Remember seeing this coming out on DVD, knew nothing about it, haven't watched it yet, so I can't really say anything on that. Dungeons and Dragons, Honor Amongst Thieves. It's one that I want to watch. It's just dropped on Sky Cinema, so I will be taking a look at that one. Enter the Dragon. Amazing. It's on 4K as well. I'm curious to hear what the transfer of this is like. I've actually got Enter the Dragon probably on 3 different formats. I've got it on DVD, Blu-ray. I did have a VHS of it, but I don't think I've still got it. So I just need to know whether the 4K upgrade is actually worth it or whether it makes a difference. But a classic movie. As far as martial arts movies, it will never be bettered. You lost me ever so slightly with the vinyl, I'm afraid, with your vinyl collection. I'm not a massive fan of modern music, as you know. I tend to have one foot firmly planted in sort of the 70s and the 80s. Let's see what you got there. But I did appreciate Tango in the Night, Fleetwood Mac, which was where they took the track Sweet Little Lies from and a couple of others. That was a good album. I can't fault that one. Led Zeppelin, I was never into him. Mate of mine at school was heavily into Led Zeppelin. It never really sort of gelled with me. So Duran Duran, Future Past. I remember your review of that a few weeks ago, and that's one that I've still got to get a hold of. But yeah, I will be having a listen to that one. So yeah, thanks for that, Scott. Really enjoyed those videos. Right, a question to you guys. Somebody mentioned something to me this week, and basically said, is there any movie, I think I might have posed this one before, Is there any movie that got you so angry, and not a horror movie, anything but, that you basically got you so wound up that you turned it off before the end? And I thought about it for a minute, and I thought, yeah, definitely. It's the movie that sprung to mind straight away, and that's Kidulthood. Ah, what a horrible film. I sat through 15 minutes of it, and I remember thinking at the time, there's not one person, apart from the two unfortunate people that were on the receiving end of the bullying that was going on, there wasn't one person that I didn't want to put a bullet right between their eyes. They were just the most horrible, vile bunch of people. And this was all set in a high school. Or this one was. I don't know what this. I'm told there are sequels. I heaven forbid what they're like. But I just remember watching it and being absolutely horrified at how real it actually was. It was just awful, and I couldn't stick more than 15 minutes of it. I'm fairly sure that I would never ever watch it again. So that question is open to you guys as well. Apart from horror movies that are just horrible anyway, is there any movie that got you so angry or so wound up that you thought, I've had enough of this, and you turned it off? Questions in the comments below. That'll give me something else to talk about next week. Guy, you went off on 2 beautiful rants last week. Wow. I haven't been able to find them, but I do remember them. One was about Thunderbirds. Thunderbirds has started screening on Talking Pictures TV, and you were really looking forward to it. And then you found out that Sky Glass doesn't have Talking Pictures TV. Unlucky. You can pick a box set, dude, up for about a tenner now, I'll bet you, on DVD, so it's not that much of a tragedy. But I do get it. And the other one was, I think it was the STV player. I'm on Virgin Media now. I've got it, a screening classic TV shows like Brookside. I can't remember the name of the TV series you mentioned, but you did mention that it had been cut to shreds, despite having some kind of a warning before it that it contained 3, 2, 1, calm. That a warning that it contained outdated attitudes and violence and stuff like this, and they still cut it to shreds. I need to come back to this because this is a subject, as you know, that I feel very, very passionate about. I'm certainly glad that I don't pay for a subscription to ITVX, because after watching one of the Carry On films, or starting to watch one of the Carry On films a few weeks ago, and then suddenly realising 10 minutes in that there are whole lines of dialogue and whole scenes missing from it, and I thought, it ain't right. But I'm going to come back to this, so watch this space. And you put, here we go, perfect hangover TV. Is it my dulcet tones that do it? I don't know. Another cracking vid, mate. The idea of Movie Zone Saturday and TV Zone Sunday is a winner. Love that. I love the names, Guy. I think you've just come up with the two titles for the two vids. I like those a lot. Movie Zone Saturday and TV Zone Sunday. Yeah, I like that. Magpie. I was talking about Magpie. It was a kids program from the 70s. Before my time, you old git. It was, to be fair. I didn't watch Blue Peter much either. That was for posh kids. My sister used to watch it though. Was your sister quite posh then? I think I used to watch both. Regarding the Star Wars prequel trilogy, they are starting to get more love since the new trilogy came out. As for series recommendations for Star Wars, definitely Clone Wars, Star Wars Rebels as well. There's a lot of hours with just those two. You would love The Mandalorian and Obi-Wan. In fact, bollocks to it. Watch it all. You've got Disney Plus, so fill your boots. I'm going to start from the beginning. I am going to do it. I'm going to start with the 1977 original movie. I'm going to watch everything in chronological order and bring it right up to date with the new series. I do want to do that for sure. Let's see. Right, a few quick bits of news. The Exorcist, Believer, second trailer dropped. Jason, you were saying, I wasn't a fan of the original, but I do like the look of this one. Even the wife said, shall we go to the cinema and watch it? I got to admit, it looks good. That first trailer I watched a few weeks ago, and I remember thinking, it looks all right, but I don't think it's going to be anything special. And I also remember thinking, the best way to go into this is by not thinking of the original movie, just treating it as a standalone thing. Um, but this second trailer looked absolutely amazing. Ellen Burstyn is brilliant. We still haven't seen Linda Blair yet. I've heard Linda Blair is in this, but whether she is or not is another matter. We've got to wait till October to find that one out. But that second trailer, I've got to say, that looks absolutely amazing. So yeah, it did make me jump at least twice. So that's a good sign. There was also a trailer for Mary Had a Little Lamb. Yeah. I saw sort of the snapshot on YouTube and thought, aren't we in danger of saturating this now? We started with Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, which was a brilliant sort of, take on the Disney thing, turning it into a horror movie. Brilliant idea. Now all of a sudden everyone is jumping on the bandwagon. But I think Dave Oliver, Savage Zombie Reviews, you sort of looked at this one, and I tend to agree with you. This actually looks a lot better than I thought it would. It also looks quite brutal, which I actually thought Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey was quite nasty. But there's a very good chance I will take a look at this because it doesn't look bad at all, and it doesn't. So yeah, that's a very good possibility for me. Let's see. I'm going to take another quick break here. I'm going to have to, so I'm coming up to 30 minutes. We're actually going to scoot over an hour with this one. The last section is not going to be long, probably 5 or 10 minutes, because I've only got a couple more bits. So I'll be back in a few seconds. And we're back. Welcome back to part 3, guys. Only a few bits to get through now. Shouldn't be more than about 10 minutes. Let's see how we go. Jason Kerr, our Ginger Ninja, you posted a trailer for Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Death and Porridge. What the fuck? This goes back to what I was saying about Winnie the Pooh, and also now Mary Had a Little Lamb. We are in grave danger of saturating the market with these things. We'll see how we go with it, but I get the feeling there are going to be a lot of these coming up. But yeah, fair enough. The trailer for Goldilocks and the Three Bears, Death and Porridge doesn't look bad. But whether I'll be watching it or not is another matter. The other thing, Evil Dead Rise drops on Netflix on the 21st of September. That was quick. Whether I'm going to have the guts to actually have a look at that, because I've been reading up on it and there's some pretty nasty stuff in this one. Then again, there was in the original, if I remember right. That was quite controversial for its brutality. So, but yeah, dropping on Netflix on the 21st, I didn't see that one coming. I think, Jason, I think you broke that news. But yeah, quite surprised by that. But if I'm going to watch it, it will almost certainly be on that. Lee Barber, you popped a post on about a movie called Godzilla -1. I have to say it looks amazing. Now, you all know that I was not a fan of Kong Skull Island or Godzilla versus Kong or whatever it was. So I saw this and thought, oh God, really? But it looks absolutely amazing. I have to say, it looks brilliant. And it just goes to prove that if you want a good job doing of a Godzilla movie, give it back to its country of origin and let them run with it. Give it to the Japanese and see what they do with it. And what they come up with looks amazing, I've got to say. And there's also a series coming up on, let's see, Apple TV called Monarch, Legacy of Monsters. Stars Kurt Russell. It also stars John Goodman. It looks brilliant. It looks like a cinema film. It looks that good. Whether it's a movie or a series, I don't know. I get the feeling it's going to be a series, but it looks amazing. So thanks for that, Lee. I'm definitely going to be taking a look at both of those. Lee enjoys, morning Lee by the way, morning, Lee enjoys my rants. I haven't been off on one for quite a while, since I think Filter Lanes was my last one. But I'm formulating a list of things that I can go off on one about in the near future. So you've not heard the last of the rants, Lee, I promise you. Right, I've got a quick list here of Network, as you say, as I said before, went under. Brilliant label that concentrated on British movies, British series, old British series. And I've got, let's see, 5 British movies here, outstanding British movies that Network released. Whether you'll see them again on other labels is anybody's guess. But I'm really, really hoping that somebody picks up the mantle from Network and starts releasing movies like Hell Drivers. Absolutely brilliant. I was really surprised at how raw and brutal this was, for saying it was made in what year are we going back to here? 1957. Stars Patrick McGoohan, Stanley Baker. Who else is in this? Oh, I can only see those two. Here we go. Sid James is in it. Gordon Jackson's in it. William Hartnell is in it. Just about a group of truck drivers, British truck drivers, constantly trying to outdo each other by doing certain runs faster than the last. Absolutely no regard for either health and safety or rules of the road or anything like that. It's pretty much akin to something like Mad Max Fury Road or something like that, but in 1957. But this is an absolutely brilliant movie, made in black and white. Absolutely love that one. Sticking with British thrillers, Sweeney 2. This is the second instalment of the Sweeney franchise as such. Obviously it's based on the TV series of the 70s. They made a movie called Sweeney in 1976, which was brilliant, but this brought it back to basics. The original Sweeney movie from 76 concentrated on stuff like government conspiracies, that kind of thing. Way out of the comfort zone of any sort of fan of the TV series, but this brings it right down to its basis sort of thing. This is bank robbers, it's murder, it's just absolutely brilliant. You've also got, who's in this? John Ford, Dennis Waterman, the wonderful Denham Elliott is in this, sadly no longer with us. But this is superb. This is definitely a better movie than the original Sweeney, although I loved it, and the series speaks for itself. Superb. The Likely Lads. In the 70s, as I've said before, a lot of TV sitcoms, series and stuff like that were turned into movies, feature films. And this was one of them. This was actually one of the better ones. Stars Rodney Bewes, James Bolam, all the cast from the original TV series, the BBC TV series. Well worth watching. Definitely one of the better movie adaptations of a television series. The Smallest Show on Earth. This, let's see, concerns a couple who inherit a cinema. They go to see this cinema. They think it's the rather posh deluxe cinema. It isn't. It's the flea pit across the road. Peter Sellers is in this. Bill Travers is in this. Virginia McKenna is in this. It is a black and white classic, and it basically shows how they turn an old, basically flea pit of a cinema into a success. Margaret Rutherford is superb in this. Well worth a watch. And finally, one of my favourites, The Ghost Train. Despite Arthur Askey playing one of the most irritating characters you will ever see on any movie, it's based on a play that was written by Arnold Ridley, who played Private Godfrey in Dad's Army. This is a wonderful movie. It's an old one. It's from about 1941, I think, something like that. But I never get bored of this. But the character Arthur Askey plays is just the most irritating person. But the movie itself, absolutely love it. Scary, funny, brilliant. So that's 5 Network classics. A quick look of what I've been buying this week. We'll just drag these over, and then I shall leave you all to get on with your Saturday. First off, the new issue of SFX. There's a bit of everything in here. The Last of Us, The Winter King. I remember reading the book of that years ago. There's an article on Doctor Who, Saw X, Star Trek Lower Decks. I don't know that one. Strange New Worlds, The X-Files, Halloween, all sorts in there, so I'll have a read of that. What else have I got here? Two classics. First one, To Kill a Mockingbird, Gregory Peck. Never seen it, never read the book, but I've heard really good things about it, so looking forward to having a look at that. This one, somebody lent me on DVD a while ago, and I never got a chance to watch it, so I thought I'll grab it, see what it's like. Blu-ray, it only cost me about £2. Stardust. Robert De Niro, Claire Danes, Michelle Pfeiffer. It's some kind of a fairy tale fantasy type thing, but I've heard very, very good things about it, so I'm looking forward to having a look at that one. And finally, I had a conversation at work, oh God, several conversations at work, about a certain Western actor who was popular in this person's household years ago, and I said I'd never seen a movie with him in it, so I found this little box set, John Wayne, and you've got some classic movies in here: Hondo, McClintock, True Grit, which is the only John Wayne film I've ever seen, Rio Lobo, El Dorado, Big Jake, The Shootist, which I've heard is superb. It's John Wayne's last movie and it's probably the highlight of his career. The Sons of Katie Elder, which is one that was on regularly on a Sunday afternoon but never ever watched it, or always meant to but never got round to it. And The Man Who Shot Liberty Valance. £2 something for that full set. They're DVDs, not Blu-rays, but well worth it. So I'm going to be having a look at those. Right, I'm going to let you get on with your Saturday, folks. I've wobbled on for too long. Thanks ever so much for joining me. Hopefully from next week it should be a little more streamlined and not quite so confusing and so much of a jumble. I hopefully will be back tomorrow with some kind of a video to do with the TV channel. I don't think it'll be a long one, but we'll see how we go. But this will drop, let's see, on Saturday, and I will stop referring to last week's video and this, that, because that's where it gets confusing, because obviously you're watching it on a different date. I will just refer to it now as the last video, and we'll keep it at that. So have a great weekend, folks. Hope this is working out for you as well as it seems to be working out for me. All I've got to do now is cobble all this together and schedule it to drop on the Saturday. And as I say, the stress has completely dropped out of all this, so it's definitely working better for me already. So have a brilliant weekend, folks. Again, thanks for joining me. If you've enjoyed the video, thumbs up, subscribe, all that sort of thing. It would be very much appreciated. Have a great week, folks, and I'll talk to you again next weekend. See you soon. Ta-ra.